I have the AC on in my room right now because it's getting all, well, it's hot, period. We're now in the 80s. Interestingly enough, the weather has changed now for the month of August. Now that I think that technically we're now officially in summer. June and July was pretty much a pleasant joke. There were certain days that were kind of cool, and it's like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? So I have a distinct feeling that for the next 2 months, probably all the way up until Comic-Con, which is the second week of October, I believe it is, or first week, I could be wrong, but wherever the case may be, we're going to have a nice humid weather. And I don't know if I think that would be a good thing, because I don't like to go with a coat, when I go to Comic-Con. Of course, bad thing is our, screws up the weather in a way. I think because of how hot it's going to get, we're probably going to get a nice cold winter, maybe even a lot of snow. Who knows? Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed my Ifrit build. I actually really enjoyed that build. It was, I think, one of my most successful builds using LED lights. Now, I don't see myself using putting LED lights now again on any current kits. Where the hell's my tray? Oh, there it is. When you look at the Ifrit, you could pretty much tell that there was a lot of room in there, and I showed it to everybody. Smaller kits is kind of difficult unless the kit is a little bit bigger than normal, but something as small as this, I don't see myself putting LED lights. I'm not saying it cannot be done. I mean, I've seen a lot of people's works. I think, who was it? I think somebody put LED lights on the 00 riser, real grade. They put it on the GN drives, in the chest and the eyes. And this is where, and I mentioned this in my Ifrit build, they did this where they put it all in a diorama based type setup. Now, that is understandable, especially if you want to create a diorama. That's where a base is required, and I did mention the fact that I could have easily done that with the Ifrit, but again, there was a lot of to use this one. There was a lot of room for me to put LED lights. On the small one, there's pretty much not enough room, because then you have the wiring, you have the switches, the light itself. Even though smaller LED lights are still pretty big when you put on the attachment. And obviously, how to route the battery directly into the light source. I guess I always see myself saying I can make the Gundam kit be on its own power source without being tied down. You could say I'm partly disappointed with the Perfect Grade Unicorn, because you had to have a base for the Unicorn so you could light up, and you had to, and when you okay, that's understandable with all those light sources and all the batteries, fine, but still, you didn't have you only had 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes to keep the power on. Now, I think somebody told me that there's a way you can actually fold the switching so you can make the batteries run longer than 5 minutes. I don't know where that message is, or if anybody knows if there's a trick. I can imagine somebody has already figured a way to bypass that feature in the packs and was able to put it on. Because I know that when I put the batteries on mine, those were like the titanium batteries. Cost me a lot of money, and again, they turned themselves off. So I don't know what feature kit I will do with doing an LED light source again. I will review some current kits that I have, well, certain RE kits that I have, and maybe even some recently new purchase kits, like from the IBO line. Hint, hint, wink, wink, the Gusian. Because clearly there's enough room in there to put a beer keg inside, let alone a few batteries. Alright, so give me some time to start removing these parts and clean it up, and then we'll move on. Alright, so here is the inner frame of the 00 QanT and how it looks. Pretty nice, very detailed, but surprisingly a little different than the standard inner frame that I'd normally see on real grade kits in the past. For starters, it's a different arm, as you can see there. This has this weird little setup where you have a little notch there, a hole there, and a hole here. This is not from the frame that came with the original kit. As a matter of fact, here it is, left over. You see? You could definitely put it on if you like, but I don't think the armor would fit it, because the armor is custom fitted for this this arm. The only thing, when I was looking at the manual, I was a bit surprised, saying, "Wait a minute, it doesn't have an X mark on it." Hold on, let me show you. So here, you'll see that this one is X'd out, meaning we don't need it. And we needed this, and everybody else. This is not X'd out as well, yet I'm not using it. The only thing that, as you go into the manual, let's see here, I think it's under page 6. The only thing this reference the arm is just basically removing the fist and putting it on. So the only purpose of removing the arm from the tree is just to get the fist. But we're not going to be using the fist, we're going to be using the manipulator hand. Here's one of the hands I already assembled for like holding up the rifle slash sword. And then we have the open hand, which, quite incidentally, it's like almost the same setup as the original real high grade that I had a while back. Here's the other hand as well, which you can probably switch, left to right hand. So yeah, this looks pretty good, and how they decided to do this. Sturdy arms. Make sure you sand down the parts evenly. The legs came out really nice. I like how it looks. Thing is though, this thing opens up like crazy. Hopefully when you put a plastic part under it that goes here, it'll hold into place like so. Otherwise it's going to be opening and closing all the time. For now we're just going to leave it like this until I put this on alligator clips, so I can begin painting. Jesus, get it out of my mouth. The head is okay. Nothing else. Everything else is just the clear parts and the other white parts as well. And then of course use that area for the GM drive, which I guess another part holds it in. And speaking of there's a lot of these extra gray parts here. For starters, I think this one goes in the shoulder that holds up the shield. This is for for the bits. This is another one for the shield, which I had to put this little part here. I had to meticulously look at each and every one, which one we need to keep, which one we don't need, but how I'm going to tackle it, so I can put it on stands or something to hold it up, so I can paint them. The one part here that definitely need assembly would be the actual holster for the beam rifle slash sword. So this one's the actual thing that turns like that for the sword, or you turn it like that and you have the sword, or you do this and you have the beam weapon. As a matter of fact, let's put this on right now, see how it feels. Here we go. See? That's simple. There is a definite, there's a lot of strength into the arm for it to hold up. I don't know if it will hold on its own. I don't know if it's going to hold up the entire beam sword effect type thing from the series, but we'll test it out and see how it looks. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I'm now contemplating why didn't I get the real grade Exia? Should have gotten that. I've seen that. I've seen it in Gundam Planet. I've seen that in I've seen it in Barnes and Noble. Yeah, and there was one time I saw it at another hobby store a while back. I didn't feel like getting it, but eventually I will. Eventually I will, and not now. All right, so just pretty much completes the inner frame. I'm going to now begin cleaning up all the blue and the white and the red parts, and then I'm going to begin painting. Okay, so let me begin doing that.